Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Tech Productions. Today, I'm back up joined once again by Jake and Nick.
What's going on, y'all?
Howdy, howdy.
And today, we're just shooting the shit, really, having fun, talking about what happened at locals, what wasn't on camera, potentially fun side stories like how was Kings Island, new G Fuel flavor, or if you're familiar with Whatnot, we have a link down below in the description. Click it. You can claim, if you create a new account through clicking the link down below, your credit $15. And hey, it lets them know that we sent you. I know, that's weird. We just did like an ad type thing. It's weird.
Yeah, we've never really done that before.
We've done partnership kind of things with like TCG medals, like, hands down. If you don't have a medal leader, get it. They're amazing. I absolutely love all the ones I have.
Yeah, if you're really passionate about a particular leader, I actually have this this gold Trunks Vegeta leader right here. This is really sick. And if you miss out on the gold, you can always get the unlimited version.
Yeah.
Of whichever leader that you really like. So check out TCG medals. I think it's safe to say this video is sponsored by Whatnot, or is it an affiliate link?
It's more or less an affiliate link, actually. They reached out to us, asked if we were interested. I looked at the site before. A couple of my old coworkers used to work with kind of actually showed it to me and showed me that people go on there and like will sell cards in a sense, kind of like do like a random drawing, like a lot of the cards facing. I think what I saw was actually I think it was a Dragon Ball one I saw. They had all the cards facing the back, and there's like the way they did it was like you put in like, I don't know, $3, $5, $10, and that's X amount of cards, but then you put numbers beside them, and so they would count up that many cards how they did it, and it's different between obviously person and whatnot. And me and Spike have talked about like on the next set, maybe cracking a case on what's not and whatnot, and potentially kind of giving away certain things like as it goes on. You kind of just auctioning off cards or something. We're still working on it. Maybe not. We'll see what happens when time comes.
So it's like a live streaming auction app, right?
Yes.
Like, from what I understand, like different people do different things. Sounds like you guys were like watching a box break or something like that. Recently, I heard that there's another. If you guys are into Magic at all, there's a content creator, Tellurian Community College. And he's going to be doing like a big live stream. So if you want to go ahead and like set up an account before that stream happens, I think that's in like 2 or 3 days on the 26th.
Yeah.
Go ahead and click our link. That would help us out if you want to support us. We're a much smaller channel, but I'm sure whichever creator you want to support, I'm sure it'll go to good use. You know what I mean? And I think there's content creators and stuff doing auctions on there all the time. So just something cool to check out, and it's like a new way to like shop online.
Yeah.
So
and not just cards, they also do like toys, games, jewelry.
So just like all kinds of shit.
I'm looking at the site right now. There's actually an NFT one section if you're into that stuff.
Not me personally, but I'm sure somebody out there likes that kind of thing.
So yeah, check out the link down below if you're interested. Like I said, create a new account and they give you $15 credit for it. So, locals off-game cameras. Nick, you were on camera. Unfortunately, Jake was not on camera at all, right?
No, actually, I think this is the first week in a while I haven't been on at all.
Me?
Well, I mean, you're on camera, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Oof.
All right, let's try not to give anything away. But what did you play against?
Cell.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So even if you won, that game's just rough to be a part of.
Yeah, you're kind of limited what you can do unless you could aggro enough.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it. Like you said, save it for the video.
It's Piccolo superhero versus starter Cell. Yeah, it's on the channel. Also, we got Android 21 taking on Halo Coup. That was a fun game. I brought back Android 21 mainly due to the 5-drop 18 that came out in set 18. I wanted to give her a shot, and since we kind of covered every new leader finally, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? And I love that deck. It is amazing.
Just a Bancroft special, yeah.
I played actually both Jake and Nick off camera with that deck, and I think Jake was watching my Nick's match, and the 18's auto on play could really catch someone off guard if they're not careful.
Oh yeah, like I didn't even know that card existed, but like I was watching the game, but I was also I had to buy, so I was also like walking around, kind of like helping out with like calls and stuff if people needed me, and just kind of hanging out. But by calls, I mean rulings questions, like not giving people moves. But I'm sure that's obvious.
Who did you play, Nick, round 2?
It was supposed to be Jimmy. It was a weird night. It was a weird night for me. Technically, my record was 2-1, but out of all the games I played, I lost all of them. Oh, oops.
God.
You just cut that.
You don't know which ones I lost.
Exactly. So stay tuned for that.
But yeah, it was a weird fucking night for me. It was technically supposed to be Jimmy, but he was like, I don't want to play Nick. And then Jason had the bye, so I played against Jason, and he was playing Broly Swap.
Yeah. Actually, I was hoping Jimmy could be here for this, but he was exhausted. So both me and him actually went to Kings Island on Friday for the new like haunts thing for the holidays. Amazing. Absolutely loved it. And I kind of wish I lived near Kings Island more often.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where if I would so get a gold pass if I lived closer. But I'm actually thinking about getting a gold pass anyways next year and going up there maybe once a month, if not twice a month. It's just really fun.
Yeah, one thing I didn't really realize about Kings Island growing up until, I didn't realize this until just a couple years ago, that the the park of Kings Island is actually like a pretty historic park and pretty like important, like the history of roller coasters. Like the Beast is like a iconic roller coaster, even like outside of our local area, which I never would have believed. And there's just all kinds of like lore and interesting stories and things if you really like want to learn about Kings Island.
I found
I never been to Kings Island. When I was growing up, we always went to Holiday World. We were closer there to that park, so that was the one I always went to. I've always wanted to go, but never had a chance to.
Holiday World is crazy too. There's all kinds of like it was just like a Christmas park, right? And then over time they like added more things to it.
Well, it was literally themed after holiday stuff. So there was like a Halloween section, Christmas section, Thanksgiving, and then it just kind of blown up more. Then they added the water park, and then that added more popularity to it. It's a pretty fun place to go visit.
I've actually never been there.
Me either, but I've only heard good things.
Let's switch. I'll go to Kings Island. You guys go to Holiday World.
Nah, I think I'm going to go to Kings Island.
Damn.
So, actually, no, I do want to go to Holiday
We
World.
could all just go to both.
We can.
Road trip blog?
So, maybe. One of my favorite things, real quick, for those who aren't familiar, is a certain game called Dead by Daylight. And it kind of procs one of those few things with the fear of flight responses. And I got to experience that actually at Kings Island. I absolutely loved it. Roller coasters tend to do it as well for like that brief fragment of a second. It's like, oh no, this could go horribly wrong, and then it's completely fun. I don't know what just happened. My audio is just, I think, switched on me.
Uh-oh.
With the haunts, there are employees who are like hiding in key locations, waiting for people to walk certain places. And me and Jimmy went to ride the Orion when we first got there. Fantastic ride, has a beautiful drop, and the whole ride is great. He said that it's it's better later in the day when it warms up more. And so we went back later at night, and they had opened up like what looked like a kind of like a snack bar area. And I was like, oh, that wasn't open earlier. And I was looking directly at that thing. I knew what was in front of me. I knew the path was open. I wasn't aware someone was hiding behind the double stacked boxes behind that.
The conspicuously person stacked crates.
And they jumped out and like did the whole roar. And I was like, I literally felt my body kind of like jump in its place, but I stayed pretty like still. I'm used to work like balloons popping. I'm used to loud noises going off. And I was just like, that was fucking amazing. Thank you. And I started clapping. I'm like, thank you.
Dang, Bancroft got raw at X3 and then he fucking applauded.
Yeah, like it got me off guard. I went through one of the haunted houses type things, and I clocked almost 95% people there. I was just like, I take a coin.
You were hitting people?
Well, no, I saw them. Like I went behind, like I was walking around, waiting, like, okay, yeah, there's someone there, there's someone there, there's someone there, and I realized that I need to, if I do haunted houses, I need to be in the middle of the group, because if I'm in the front, I unintentionally just walk fast, and no one was jumping out at me, but I happened to see almost every single person before they even did anything because of it.
Whew. Man, do I got a story time for all of you.
All right.
So, my very first job, I actually worked at a haunted house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You wouldn't think that about me, just a big old fat guy with a beard, but let's see. It's in Louisville. Nightmare Forest. Yeah, in Otter Creek Park. Have y'all heard of that one?
No.
Maybe.
No? Well, this was circa 2012, I think what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So near Louisville, there's two big ones. It's Field of Screams and Nightmare at Otter Creek. And my wife, girlfriend at the time, she was like, you know what? Let's do something silly. Let's try to work there. And she ended up getting a real person job at Michael's, and I got the job there because they just needed bodies. So my role, I was the werewolf, and they didn't have a full werewolf costume. So my costume consisted of flannel shirt, werewolf mask, and black gorilla gloves. So I did not match. And they gave me a probably like 10 square foot like closet essentially to work out of with just a red light and just body parts and stuff. They were like, make it work.
Make it work.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was probably one of the worst experiences of my life, but it kept me humble, which I'm proud of that. But I had so many people just make fun of me because I mean, like I looked ridiculous and like working out in like the almost sub-zero temperatures in the middle of October. It was awful. But
yeah, those gorilla gloves provide no warmth.
No, and then you'd sweat in the rubber mask, and then you take it off to breathe, and then you'd immediately freeze from the sweat on your face. And then this was when Twilight was out, when it was big. I think it was the second one. So everybody called me Jacob Twilight.
Oh,
I got called Teen Wolf a lot, so that was
Okay.
fun. And
Slightly better.
And then that song by Shakira, She Wolf, was out at the time. I got called She Wolf a lot too.
Damn. That was the worst.
Yeah, so I don't let much phase me anymore because Jesus Christ, as a 16-year-old kid getting berated like for 5 hours in the middle of the dark, whew, that puts a damper on your self-esteem.
Just knocked me right down a peg.
Whew, too, buddy.
But
looking back on it, pretty fond memories.
I don't know where it was at exactly. I heard on the radio, I think Thursday or Friday, there was a guy who was working at a haunted house type thing. He got fired because he pooped in like one of the buckets because like I guess he didn't have a break or something, or I'm not sure what happened. I'm trying to find the story actually, but
that was me.
Oh, is that you? Okay, makes sense. He poops in a bucket or a box like during the shift because he had to go, but he didn't want to leave his post. And didn't tell anyone about it, and they found it later, like, yo, what the fuck? And he lost his job because of this. I don't know exactly. I'm trying to find it real quick, but it was just an interesting story since we're talking about the idea of like haunted houses and whatnot.
Well, I'm gonna let you in on the secret. They do not pay well, so he's probably fine.
No, they do not.
I worked so at mine. They did not everybody even got paid. Like you had to technically, quote unquote, earn your paid spot. Otherwise, they considered it volunteer work.
Yep.
And for 2 nights out of the week, I got $75 for both nights.
How many hours?
And that was work. We started at like 6 and we ended at like 1 in the morning. So I got paid
$75 a night or $32.50 a night.
No, 75 a night. So it was like 100.
Okay.
But even still, that was like
bad.
Yeah, like $5 or $6 an hour. Not fun.
Apparently, there was a Karen base haunted house. You guys hear about that one?
No.
Karen
Terrible.
themed Halloween display was taken down. That's what was the display. That looks great. It's a picture. Can I speak for manager? Oh man, that's great. All right, just dropped it in there. Yeah, so this was like a display that had to be taken down. Apparently, people didn't like it.
That's goofy, bro. I would have kept that up even if people didn't like it. I would have been like, too bad, so sad.
There's a house nearby my street. They have a half a tree that's been cut down forever, but it's about 10 foot tall, like stump. They turned it into the ISR on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, what is that? Wait, what was this? Middle Earth? What is this?
Why is he so short?
So staying on the Halloween theme thing, I don't think you guys saw this. This is the
No.
This is the tin can that the Dead by Daylight G Fuel came in. I've not.
Is it like a lunchbox?
Yeah, no, it's a legit lunchbox. And I also flipped it around because when I opened it up, it was the other way around. I'm like, makes more sense to me. But sure.
Yeah.
But no, I was super excited when I finally got this in the mail. And for those who are interested, this is a oh my god,
Sticker?
no,
Decal?
this is my main killer, and I don't remember her name all of a sudden. I feel so bad. Holy crap, Huntress! Holy crap!
Damn.
I'm not a DVD
You really
player.
proved us that you played that game.
You know what?
Brain freeze.
You know what? It's been a long weekend. I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Holy crap!
What a video.
Kind of moving back to the card game a little bit. Jake, you weren't on camera, but you brought back Trunks and Vegeta.
I did.
But you made some changes. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So, I felt like Trunks and Vegeta is just like a deck I'm really comfortable with, and I was really kind of like throwing everything at the wall, trying to figure out how to make that deck like competitive in the current meta. And somehow my diseased brain decided that the only way to do it was to dip a little bit into every color in the game and play 5 color. You only ever charge blue or yellow energy, but if you count like dual color cards, it touches like every color. But really the main thing was to try and like get access to Bean and be able to go into a turn against Gogeta or Sin with a standing Trunks blocker and 1 energy active. And while you could do that if you went first, you can't guarantee that going second every game. And I felt like blue-yellow was the only way I could really do that. So I incorporated the blue-yellow Bojacks, the blue-yellow Zamasus, of course Bean, and then I played a couple copies of Quick Shift Gokua because he's a Bojack Brigade and you can charge it and it's just a yellow energy. And then that fulfills the requirement for your Pinpoint Onslaught Bojacks. And then those would be blue-yellow and come in inactive. And then Quick Shift also, you can combo it off for 1 energy if you don't have Trunks or Vegeta pieces. Send 2 cards from your hand away, shuffle and draw 2, and try and hit those pieces, and then just immediately put Quick Shift Goku in the Z. And then, as far as the Z deck goes, I played pretty much the yellow stuff, Evolved Defender, and just good yellow. And then because I have blue energy, I also have access to Cell.
So those aren't leader locked or by color locked, pretty much as long as you meet the specified costs.
Yeah, it doesn't care what color your Z energy is, just what color that you tap to play it. And then Cell doesn't care what color your leader is either. So it just gets the effect. So imagine like how many battle cards you can rest in Trunks and Vegeta, and then play Cell behind that and suck them all up and triple strike crit.
Man, I don't know about y'all, but going second these days sucks.
Feels quite bad. I actually managed to take the event tonight. I feel like I can say that since I wasn't on camera? Question mark. And I went second every game. I mean, I got a bye round one, but I went second both games.
In our matchup, going second and not seeing certain pieces really hurt me early on, where I couldn't get a 16 battle card or the unison ready, so I could not slow down. And I had to, for I think 2 turns, had to deal with my own tokens I'm giving you to fight me back. And that actually happened on camera as well, so you all get to see that matchup, which was fantastic. But yeah, so if you're a fan of 21, check it out. If you're a fan of Halo Coup, check that out. Sometime later this week. I'm not really sure when. Maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. I don't know.
Who knows? But yeah, I played you in
some round.
In a round. And then I also played against Red Gogeta, and that game was pretty insane.
That was the greasiest game I've ever witnessed. I'm surprised you kept through the whole thing.
Yeah, I had to play multiple copies of Evolved Defender, and it was just an all-out rough game. Like, my opponent couldn't ever establish an 8-drop Gogeta, which I was pretty lucky for. Just like the way he like charged energy and comboed things, and like just the way stuff worked out, he could never really match up a fusion. And then I was able to put enough pressure on him super late in the game when he didn't have enough energy to, or he didn't have enough cards in hand to spend all of his energy. So at the end of the game, I was able to kill him without having to deal with the Z leader, which was really nice. I think the game went to like turn 9 or 10, maybe. I stopped charging after 6.
I walked by. I was like, "What's going on?" And I would just look down at the energy. I'm like, "How is this happening?" And I was just super confused. Gogeta's one of those decks where we talked about before. It can be really good in a master of the card game, and it can still be good with someone who is a novice. And the guy who's playing is a great player, but I still think he's learning the correct curve with the deck. So I would kind of put him in the middle of like between like a master deck and a novice deck. So like there's still things I think I saw him play, and I was like, he could have done way differently and way better. But just seeing Jake's like reaction of trying to play against it, and even at the end in that match when the player realized, I'm not tapped out, I can't Z awaken, and Jake's like, I just forgot about that entirely, was like, yeah, like that's a whole nother factor you have to recall.
The whole game, I'm looking over at Bancroft and I'm saying, because I'm getting around pretty much everything he's doing through Trunks effect, Evolved Defender, negates. I'm just kind of like doing what Yellow does best and like just weaseling out of turns and extending the game. And every time after I get out of a turn, I look at Bancroft and I go, nothing I'm doing matters. Because I know as soon as I go to make a kill push, he just Z awakens. But I completely forgot he had to be tapped out. And there's just so many things to think about. Like, even in that game where he couldn't establish an 8-drop, there was so many threats that the game went that long. He was putting so many threats towards me and was just able to deal with what I was pushing at him just from raw card advantage. The only way I was able to end the game is by establishing the 3-drop slug and keeping it alive for a couple of turns, and slowly his hand size whittled down, and I was able to kill him.
Yeah, on the outside looking in, it almost looked like you guys were playing 2 different games at the same time. Like, it got to the point where both you and him were doing something that the other didn't really care about. So it was honestly wild to watch.
Yeah, it was one of those like plans within plans kind of games. Like, you kind of had, I think, I had to like really like push myself and try and like read what he was able to do, but at the same time, like ultimately, not a lot of it mattered. And I think the main reason I was able to come out of that game is because he just kind of clunked.
Sometimes you get lucky like that.
I would say that match also showed the power of a Z deck that far in a game. Because I think for his final push, he had played Rush Attack Vegeta. You tapped it with the Trunks, it was the first card he played. He activated the main 3, stand it, swung.
Blocked with the Trunks.
Yeah, sorry, something just went off in the background. I had a big old noise and it threw me off for a half a second. But then he established a secondary one. You use your Goku Z battle card as a way of tapping that card down. He activated main, restood it once again, and swung. You conveniently enough had a blocker negate to use. And I don't know if he had another one in his Z energy, but he could have easily established another one. You could have tapped that one down with your other Z Goku card, and he still could activate main with the amount of Z energy he had because the resource that deck provided him.
Yeah.
It was just crazy to kind of like see that final interaction. When he picked up his, I think we both looked at each other when it happened. He picked up his Z deck, and I was like, is he going to play another one? And you just kind of sighed, and you're like, you were almost like at that point where it's like, what's the point of continue pushing?
Yeah, because it just felt like the value, because he had drawn so many cards throughout the game from comboing them off, and then they all go to the Z. So at the end of the game, even if he has no cards in hand, he has 7 cards in his Z deck, and because it was so late in the game, he was still able to tap, 2 for a rush attack, 2 for a rush attack, and he could have paid 2 for another rush attack. And then maybe one of the cards in his hand was a King Piccolo behind that. The deck just generates so much insane value that I think, although I think personally, I'm starting to identify like vectors and ways you can attack that deck. And maybe we can go into that, but maybe that's another video.
Oh, hands down. I don't want all these videos being us kind of like, hey, so Gogeta, and Gogeta.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is there to talk about? Sin?
No,
Yeah.
We could talk about something we haven't talked about on the channel yet. Prison Planet. I'm super excited with the secret release and kind of moving in that direction of Dragon Ball Superheroes. No, yeah, Dragon Ball Super Heroes. Where the movie is Dragon Ball Superheroes. Yeah, okay. So
Words.
Yeah, exactly. Malice.
Malice.
Yes, Malice. Made
Bad
flesh. But yeah, no, I'm just excited. Like, I think the Secret Rare is pretty nice. Does it beat other Secret Rares? No. Does it have an interesting mechanic to it? Yes, definitely. But I just like the idea we're going to a prison planet, and maybe, hopefully, I don't know, Bandai will like let us go over a golden cooler. Sorry, a golden metal cooler if they ever decide to drop that character, because all the stupid ass April Fool videos I made in the past with that thumbnail.
Well, let's be real. If they're just starting Prison Planet, it's going to be a little bit before they get to golden metal cooler. They got to do regular. Order, they got to do regular golden cooler.
True, which was in the first episode of Prison Planet, the saga, and metal cooler, who went golden, I think, of the 26 episodes, I want to say it was around episode 17 to 19, and it was literally like a 1C thing. It was like processing into like a gold state, and then like he was fighting. I think he was fighting Cooper as well, and like the his circuitry kind of overloaded from the amount of power he was emitting. So
yeah, interesting new characters. I think one thing I wish Bandai would have done, I think they kind of...
There's time.
I think they should have combined Dragon Ball and One Piece. I don't think they should have been separate games. I think they should have sets where it's Dragon Ball Super Card Game X One Piece, and it's One Piece characters with the Dragon Ball Super power and combo cost and just the way the game is played.
Kind of like Chrono Clash, where they kind of were able to do certain things and mix them together just fine. Or there's been other card games that did in the past. My only concern, and I don't think it'll affect the card game in the long run, but like a child who divvies out their attention to multiple things, kind of leaves things lying around, and it hasn't happened really yet. But Bandai is doing Dragon Ball, Bandai is doing Digimon, Bandai is now doing One Piece, and they all play different. I haven't actually had a chance to fully test out One Piece yet. I do have the starter kit type stuff. I don't have the starter decks and whatnot. But the fact that they all play their own unique way, and I'm sure obviously like they have their own like division, like you are this card game, you are this card game, you are this card game. I just hope if they all could, because Digimon's doing pretty well. Dragon Ball's 5 years in now. Digimon is 2 years in, I think. So bringing One Piece in now kind of has like this 5, this 2, and now this like 0 checkpoint. And hopefully for a while they just leave it that way. That way those games can continue growing without kind of like applying too much attention to one thing over the other. Because I think a lot of people were complaining about in other countries there were issues with certain tournaments occurring and not being able to go to events. But we had a ton of Digimon events that were happening. So
yeah, it's starting to get to the point where they're really stretching themselves thin. Like, granted, everybody loves the IPs. I mean, they're all solid IPs. Everybody has their favorites, but at the same time, like, if you want so many people to enjoy the game, like, people essentially just have to pick one. Card games are expensive, man.
Oh yeah, no, we tried it for a while. Like me and Fluff, we get a case every set for Dragon Ball, to make sure we have cards we need or let people borrow who needs to borrow them. And we were collecting the first 4 sets of Digimon, the first set was like 1 through 3, and we got we have a playset of sets 1 through 3. I think we have a playset of set 4. And we got 6 boxes of 5, 6 boxes of 6, and at that point, I'm like, I don't have time to invest in work outside of work stuff. Dragon Ball card game. Make sure we get the videos recorded, make sure we get this taken care of, and then have to think about, I gotta make a Digimon deck now, because we wanted to do Digimon content as well, but the locals for our area, Digimon wasn't that great, unfortunately, and it was just more time investment. I just ended up playing my same 2 decks, a Greymon deck and my Diaboromon deck, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to play 2 games. Like, if I didn't have Magic cards from, when I was a child, I don't think I would have Commander decks, Like, it's just too expensive. I'm actually I'm actually selling off pieces of some of my Commander decks just because, money is tight right now. Things are expensive, and you really have to just focus on one game, like Nick said. And I think it was a huge missed opportunity, and I think it was kind of like out of fear, maybe, or just like worry that the customers would reject the product. But I also worry about Bandai managing 3 games, considering we didn't even really get a ban list for Anniversary Box or for the last set. So not a lot of events happening the rest of the year either, as far as like regionals and stuff go. So really looking forward to 2023 as far as support for Dragon Ball card game goes.
I think we still got time. Technically the anniversary isn't officially released until next week, so we got probably time if they're going to do something then, but we probably won't see an actual ban list or anything happen until right before set 2 of Zenkai. And I only say that because in the videos we've already discussed and went over for set 19 releases, in my honest opinion, I think every set in set 19 is fantastic because they all feel balanced to some degree. At time of recording this, we actually haven't gone over Blue Goatinks yet. We're going to do that tomorrow and get that up for Monday just because it was a super busy weekend. But those sets, even though as good as they feel and look, are going to be completely overshadowed by the current sets that will just eat those decks up. And I don't see how they will survive if nothing is changed or adjusted in the current meta. Yeah, everyone will pick up something from the start with, do some testing here and there, but eventually people will go back to, well, this isn't working as well as this deck was. Why am I playing this one instead of that one?
And Magic kind of does that too, where the sets kind of ebb and flow in power level, where there'll be a strong set and then a less powerful set, and then one that's better than that. I think if Bandai wants to go with that model, they should really consider moving the God Rares to the down peak of that set to keep sales at somewhat of a flat level. Because if you look, both of the booster boxes, I think it's Realm of the Gods and Zenkai,
Yeah.
that have God Rares in them, have aged incredibly well, and Zenkai isn't even that old. So, I think going forward they should consider that. I mean, it would be weird having two God Rares come out in a row, and that might be difficult as far as like printing and distribution goes, like keeping up with demand. But I think if they get themselves on that schedule, it'll be better for their sales and everything overall. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I feel like it's hard to say. Like this set has been the new launch essentially has just been so wacky for everybody. Like red is such a powerful force this set. Like it's really hard to see without just how everything else is doing without just taking it fully out of the picture. So it's I, I mean everybody's in agreement that Bandai's going to address red in some way, and I think this is kind of a good tipping point for them because this is essentially like everybody is in agreement unanimously that red needs to get hit. So I feel like if Bandai really wants to support this game, I mean they'll do something to make it to where everything is viable again because a lot of people aren't staying right now. At least our logos, a lot of people are taking breaks just because red is so oppressive. It's honestly kind of sad to see. I want to see. I like our players, but if people don't want to play the game anymore, that's just
I
shuts
mean,
everybody out.
I know we just said we don't want to make all these videos just about Gogeta, but I'll make one quick point if anybody from Bandai actually does like watch or like care about these kind of videos. Um, we have seen, let's see, a 60, roughly 60% turnout drop in our locals. Uh, Now that Zenkai's been out for a few weeks, I think the first 2 weeks of Zenkai, we had really good numbers, like 14, 15, 16 players. And then, that's not a huge event, but that's good for our locals. And then I think tonight we had
7.
6 or 7. Yeah. So 8 or 9 player disparity or deference there.
Before wrapping this up, I mean, that's actually one of the reasons why I've chosen not to play red. Because do I want to play the best deck in the meta? Sure. Do I care? No. I want to play a deck that I think is fun and that would actually allow everyone else at our locals enjoy. And if I go to a real event, sure, I'm bringing red. Fuck you guys. But outside that, I just want to have fun with the card game, and it is kind of hard for people to have fun right now. We've actually had a player who's been on the fence of leaving the card game for some time, and he's just not a fan of where it's going right now. I think otherwise. I think Zenkai is a great set. I just think we're in that beginning arc of like, what is Zenkai, and how do we pivot from point A to point B in the end with it.
I'll stand by what I've said overall. Flavor wise and outside of red, I think Zenkai is one of the better formats we've had in a while. Completely shits on Unison Squad format. But when you're sitting across the table from a red deck, it kind of feels sad.
So with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Keep in mind there are buttons, there's links, and in the description. Don't forget, if you click our link down there below, you get $15 credit if you create an account on Whatnot. So yeah, go there, get yourself some $15 credit to buy whatever you want, and it helps us out too.
You could even buy Dragon Ball cards.
You can even buy Dragon Ball cards. You know what? You guys do such a well job at pairing together. How about you all lead us out?
Well, we immediately talked over each other after you set us up like that. That's amazing. Well, Nick, it's been real, and it's been fun.
But Words can never hurt me.
Exactly. Read your cards and know your plays will fluff out.